Hi everyone, I'm Cristiano Galvao from Excel Turbo, and this is one of the other Excel talks that I'm bringing to this channel. Today I have another very special guest. His name is Alan Murray from London, and let's activate the camera because he's right here virtually at my side, and here is Alan Murray. Hello, Alan. Good afternoon
Hello.
for you.
Yes,
good,
good
good,
afternoon for me.
good morning for me, and good afternoon for you. It's a great pleasure and honor to have you here. Thanks for accepting the invitation, and I'm very happy to have this connection due to all the other connections that we have in common from the Excel
Mm.
international community. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you, Cristiano. Thank you for inviting me.
Yes. I have something here to start our talk. Let me introduce your work to my audience that maybe don't know. We have a lot of people that don't know me, and then I'm Cristiano from Excel Turbo. Okay, here. My channel is very small. Let me show yours because your channel is amazing. I have your channel here, and we have, oh, let's see, 55. I'm looking here. It's
Yes.
amazing. It's a huge community that you are building, and congratulations. This is an
Thank you.
amazing number. And this video, I was there virtually as well. Big London Excel Meetup from April with Celia Alves, Andres Stethos, and Tony the Junker. It was really cool. Celia was talking about a trick on Power Query that later she told me that she saw something from one of my videos, and I'm very happy with all
Yeah.
these kind of interactions. So, guys, people who are watching me now, this is the Computergaga channel from Alan Murray. That you, in case of you are not subscribed yet, you must to do this right now. So, click on the YouTube app, find Computergaga from Alan Murray, and check the videos that he brings to us because the content is very good, high quality content for you, Power Pivot and other stuff. Uh, this is the channel, and we have also, usually we show in the end, but this is related to the questions that I will be bringing in a moment. So Alan is also on LinkedIn, sharing knowledge and updates from Excel. And this is the Computergaga website that I will let him choose. I am not appearing now. Okay, but it's time anyway to leave the on Alan Murray to talk, and then let me put him on the screen. Not me, but hey Alan, can you hear me now? Right.
Yes, I
Uh,
can hear.
yes.
Can't
For
see you.
some reason, I'm not appearing anymore, but let me put you on the highlight and tell us how did you start the Computergaga project that it's amazing. I was showing on the screen, but I think it's much better to let you uh, talk by yourself. How did you start? You have an amazing number and also an amazing quality of content, but everybody starts from the first step. And how did
Mm.
you start this project and start to build this huge community and this huge base of followers on YouTube?
Thank you. Well, I started a long time ago, which helps. I uh, I started the Computergaga website in 2009, and then I set up the YouTube channel in 2010. So the YouTube channel has been going for 10 years now. But initially, when I set it up, I was, and I still do, work as an Excel trainer. So going into businesses and teaching them how to be more productive and getting more from Excel. And back in 2009, I was just finding that, there's certain questions that you get asked a lot, or people asking you for resources, like printed resources or something. So I set up the Computergaga blog initially just for something to reference. So if people did ask me on a course for more information, I could divert them to a page where I've kind of written it all, rather than me going into great detail and deviating from course content or whatever. So that's really initially why I started both the blog, and then following that a year or so later, the YouTube channel, just so there's something that I could refer like my students or kind of my delegates to. That was really how it started. And like you say, Cristiano, with like the early steps, it's like back then I wasn't putting a lot of content out because I was working, like traveling into London or wherever, working for, like 10-hour days and coming home and having dinner and whatnot. And you're not then going to, I wasn't having much energy or motivation to start writing blog posts and doing videos. So I wasn't getting a lot of content out. It's only really the last 4 years or so where it's grown a lot more. So it was really slow at the beginning. I was picking up an audience, but I wasn't really doing much. I was focusing more on the physical classroom training and that, which seems crazy with what's going on at the moment, thinking that's what I was relying on. And in the last 4 years, it's really grown a lot more, and I'm dedicating more time to it, and I'm producing content more regularly.
So you make a curve, some kind of change 4 years ago to start to put more content, and so you had a moment of change 4 years ago, but you are active 10 years.
Yeah, I've been one of there wasn't as many Excel people around 10 years ago.
Yes.
Names, but nowadays that's, times it by 10.
Yes, it's very good to hear about this, because in my case, I feel that I am in too close from the start. I started to put some content more on 2006, but just inside groups, and I had a small forum, but I decided to shut down. It was a huge mistake, because if I left it active today, it would be huge, but maybe. But I decided to start just writing some messages in forums, and just recently people started to look more to the content, but I don't give up. We have to keep running, keep working.
I've lost you, Cristiano.
Oh yes, I'm telling that you can hear me, right? There's something happened with my camera, but you are the special guest, and it's not a problem that if they are not able to look to my camera now. I was just trying to tell them that they must know the website that I'm putting on the screen here. This is the Computergaga blog, with lots of good articles on Excel, and also courses as well. It's a good way to improve, in a step ahead of the free content that you put, that I have as well. Sometimes people have to give a step ahead and make a course. But you have a free book here, as you can see the pop-up, and just put your email, and then you will be able to receive in your inbox. Well, you were telling about your work with the Computergaga project, that it's amazing, but I would like to hear more from you about your start with Excel. That I am sure that it was even before, because to start a blog, you have to have some experience. And how it was your first contact with Excel, and maybe your job, and tell us this story. When and how.
I'm not too good with the when and kind of timelines, but it just kind of happened. So when I was a lot younger than I am now, I started doing just some computer training. It wasn't Excel, or maybe a tiny bit of Excel, for the NHS, the National Health Service in the UK. And back then, I was helping like the healthcare workers of hospitals and surgeries, etc. Just generally in using a computer, from working with their email to putting data into their clinical systems. And it wasn't really Excel back then. But then, doing this training job and growing, and then I started working for the Transport for London in the UK, which monitor the London Underground and buses, etc. Doing training for them, and then just evolving, working for other companies, doing training. And then at some point, I started doing a lot of kind of Excel stuff, and it kind of blossomed from there. And if you look at the early stages of Computergaga, if you look at the really old, actually don't look at them, they're horrible. But if you did look at the really old YouTube videos, I did a lot of PowerPoint stuff and Word and Visio and Project, and I was teaching all this stuff. That was my job. But then at some point, Excel has kind of taken over, and I don't really deal with the others so much now. Maybe in my day-to-day work I do, but I don't teach them or anything. It's just Excel and Power BI now.
And what is your education, your background? Is it related to IT or business? What did you do on the college or other course?
Not a lot is the answer to that. So I guess my background is IT. I didn't do this stuff going through college or anything like that. I haven't achieved some remarkable education. I did go to college and that, but some of it kind of part-time. But then I did do an IT degree kind of part-time whilst I was working. Not really Excel in that. It was just doing things.
Excel is amazing because it's a solution that is extremely available, and it's able to put us on another level of opportunities. It's extremely available and in all the companies, and we have lots of things to explore. I think this is one of the things that put you on this side of the technology, I suppose. It's extremely available. How many companies you think that maybe? I think it's better to ask if you see some company that is not using Excel. Maybe.
Not really. Or they don't get involved with me if they don't use Excel. I mean, pretty much everybody,
Yes.
Which is good from the the training point of view. Which is, I still do that. I don't do it as much now because my online presence has grown, and I'm pretty busy with this stuff. But I still go into companies like when all this lockdown stuff is over, hopefully, and it's great to have that kind of boots on the ground, like experience. Like, it doesn't matter like what company I'm going to. Everybody uses Excel to some level. Like, not
Yes.
everybody is doing advanced analytics. Some people just need to do some basic stuff, but they still need to learn as well, you know. And it's great to, I enjoy it anyway, to get that variety, just helping people, whether it's doing a basic sum function or whether you're doing power pivot or VBA. You know, everyone's got their like role.
Yeah, and now you are starting, no, you are not starting, but you are performing the London Excel Meetup with other specialists, and then this is expanding, right? Because you have more connections now, and you are reaching a different audience because of, I think, all this situation of the coronavirus. Your last session was online, but before that, it was local, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And how do you feel that this project is going with this new way that we are living now, with this virtual thing? And now you have, I remember of the last session, it was on recent now,
Yeah.
yesterday, right?
Yeah, it was a Monday. It was a couple of days ago.
Yeah, I remember. I remember to see people from
Yes.
Saudi Arabia, and lots of places that maybe if they had to be locally, they wouldn't be able to be there because of all the costs of traveling and hotel and you know. And how do you think that this may affect your audience, and what kinds of how do you see this interaction with people from other countries? This is what I would like to understand, and it's very interesting.
Sure. I mean, I think everybody's getting quiet or getting better and more used to all this kind of Zoom and Teams and all this virtual stuff now. I mean, I can't wait to get back to doing it in person, because I think that's a lot better. But like, if and when we do get back to doing it in person, I'm still hoping to stream it through my YouTube channel, because I think it's one of the reasons I set this stuff up is, you know, to get the kind of community together. And I think it's great when you're doing something live. You know, it's better in person, but obviously by having an online presence as well, as you say, people who may not necessarily be in London, you know, from all over the world can get, you know, can see this live and feel like they're part of the community. Although it's virtual, they can see you, they can talk to you, rather than me returning a comment on YouTube, which is, you know, I try and reply to as many as I can. But, you know, to actually have that one-on-one, and people like yourself in there as well, you know, these other famous Excel faces, if you will.
Yes. You have some connections with the other Excel specialists and also MVPs, right? I saw your pictures when I was talking with Faraz, and I could see Leila Garani and Osdo Soler, Kempos. And tell me about the connections that you have, and how is this relation? I think you are actually I don't know why they don't give it, why Microsoft they didn't give you the MVP yet. You are not MVP, right? But
no, I've been nominated.
But it should be. It should be. You have a great work, and I think I'm not as well. Okay, I'm not MVP as well. We are in the same boat, but you are in the other floor of the ship, because you started much before, and you have done many more content. So I think you will be soon. I made the same question to Ferris, because he is very active now, and I think you will be one of the names that people may say about this program. I'm not the person that gives the titles, but I,
Yeah.
I think that probably soon they will be giving this. Uh, but I think you are very happy to have new connections. And for example, in my case, Osdo Soler, I can say that he is a friend now. We have been talking not only about Excel but other stuff, and I think maybe you have some friends as well because of Excel.
Yes. Yes, very good. I mean, Oz I've met on multiple occasions now. He actually did my London meetup in January in person. He was in London, which was just by chance.
What's the name? The name you told?
Oz, Oz du
Oh,
Soleil.
Oz Soler. Oh, okay, the same, the same. Okay, okay.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
so I mean, I've virtually I've kind of interacted with like Excel people, whether they're MVP or not. I've interacted with loads over the years, kind of collaborating, writing articles, doing, various stuff together. But it's like I was saying about the 4 years ago earlier. Um, I attended the Amsterdam Excel Summit
Uh-huh.
in 2018, which is the first time I've gone to one of the big summits or conferences. I mean, I've not been going for long, but that was the first time I went there. So I got to meet a lot of, these international Excel experts, like in person for the first time. I've spoken to a lot of them and even worked with a lot of them, but we never actually met until then. And then obviously I met Faraz last year, as you know, and many others in Bulgaria, Slovenia, Amsterdam. Obviously, London was going to be today.
Yes,
And
yes.
attending these things, so I'm getting
I,
yes, oh
I'm
yes,
I'm putting on the screen here so everybody can see. This is the website of the Amsterdam Excel BI Summit. The
mm,
website, just starting to see the website, we can see the quality of the work that they are doing. But once we go here, we can see Liam Bastic, Oz Soler, Hans Peter, and Liam Bastic. I don't know in person, but Oz Soler and Jordan I know in person. They are amazing guys. Bob Umlas as well. I know him from New York. Jordan as well. Kempos, I hope to see soon. Giancarlo, I have been talking sometimes through the internet. Hank, I hope to know. And here is Frederic Le Guin and Alan Murray. Uh, it's amazing to have the picture among all those experts. And here is the session that he made. So for you people who are watching now the video, just check uh, Excel Summit Amsterdam. But if you Google or Bing Amsterdam Excel Summit, you will find the website easily. So you will be able to see this. And it's amazing. It's amazing. This edition was on, this is from the last year, right?
this one was actually going to be this year. It was
Oh,
going to be last week. It was cancelled.
oh yes, yes, before the 17. I remember. Yeah, it's here 17. So they will reschedule for maybe the end of the year. I don't know. Yeah,
I'm not sure. I think it might resume again
yeah.
next year, hopefully.
So for people who are watching, you still have the chance to see Alan Murray in person, and just check the website regularly to see when they will be releasing the dates. Probably Alan knows something, but he will not be allowed to say here because it will be internal. I'm sure that this will be internal information, but for all the audience, just check the website, and then you will be able to see the new date that it was supposed to be uh, uh, almost close to the Excel London Meetup, right? So London Meetup, Amsterdam, and then later the Global Excel Summit. I remember that all the events should be very closed.
Yes, we
Yeah.
like to. A lot of the events in Europe, it's good to try and put some of them close together, so that people like yourself and those traveling from the US, like Jordan and Oz, and the fact that and Liam coming from Australia, the fact that whilst he's in Europe, he can do the Amsterdam summit, and then the following week we've got the one in London, and they're not doing
Yes.
multiple expensive trips. It's nice to kind of top and
Yeah,
tail.
it's a very smart way to build a good agenda of events and works. I'm sure. And talking about events, we remember of new things, innovation, and I would like to hear from you. What is from the not this here, but this here? uh, what do you think it's a good new feature of Excel? Your favorite?
Sure. Do you want me to share my screen, or should I
Uh,
just chat?
Feel free to make the show. I will activate your screen as soon you are ready. Here. Okay, can put your Excel and then show them.
Can you see Excel?
Uh-huh. Yes.
Well, just quickly, just kind of briefly, my new favourite features coming in Office 365 or Microsoft 365. It's got to be the dynamic array kind of function engine. So the new dynamic array functions are amazing, but even ignoring that for a second, because I'm sure some of the other experts coming on here will have a lot to say about those. Just changing the engine and the way we're working, I think, is both excellent, but also from the point of view of an Excel user, it's important to get some kind of understanding behind, because it's going to, really impact the way that we write formulas and the way that we reference data in our charts and our data validation lists and all that kind of stuff. So as a quick little demo, I've just got some dates and some lovely fruit and some values. And if I just do a silly if function for the moment, and in cell D1, if let's say I just want to perform an if function, good old if function, nothing new or fancy, that's going to write the word awesome if the value is 250 or more. So I could put a header in. Let's just say that the header is awesome. Oh dear. And this data is in a table at the moment. So as soon as I do that, the table is going to expand. See the little corner down here? I'm just going to drag that back, because these dynamic array formulas, you cannot put them inside tables.
Oh, yes, yes.
I just want to make sure it's great that the tables auto expand, but when we're dealing with these dynamic arrays, and that's something that can be a bit of an irritant. So I've just dragged that back. And then if I do my normal if function, and as I say, this data is in a table. So my logical test, whereas we would normally reference one cell, and then when we're finished with the formula, we'd grab the little fill handle, the little square, and we'll drag it to the bottom. And we can still do that. But with the dynamic array engine,
just before that, sorry for interrupting. I would like just you press the escape and just click on maybe papaya, mango, just to let them see that this is a table. People will be able to see a new tab on Excel.
yes.
They can see. Yes, I'm telling this, and I'm making this special note, because you are not using that fancy colors and stripes, so people may not be noticing that this is a table. So just to make sure, if people were not able to see before, Alan is using a table, very simple layout, similar to a regular range, but it's really a table. And then if you try to just write the example, you will not be able to see the thing that he will be showing right now. So sorry for interrupting. So this is a table, and what it's happening.
Table.
Yes. And what's going to happen when you click on the 140?
So I get this structured reference.
Yes.
So same row, value column. So referencing a table instead of cell C2, which I should mention, if I did put C2, it's perfectly fine. It still works. But because you can see the color illustrating that, but because it's in a table, this will now be the way it references by default. And it is better that it's like that. But the good thing is, if people have used like sheet references, some cell references, they'll work as well, you know. But I don't want a single reference here. Well, I could. That's kind of old Excel, if I can call it. Yeah, it's not that old. But with these dynamic array engine, I would reference the entire column. And because it's in a table, I can just hover my mouse along the top and get this little arrow, not the column arrow, the table column arrow. And then I get the reference to the entire column, which I could have typed as well. And I just want to know if that is greater than or equals 250, my pretend rather silly criteria. The comma to come onto value if true. And I'm just going to write the word awesome. Oops, wrong way around. Delay on the thing. And then otherwise, I haven't really thought this through. Let's write no. Close bracket. And when I press enter, that's going to spill to the bottom of the table. And you see the blue border around what I wrote. Let's expand that a little. And that is your dynamic array. So I didn't use one of the new fancy functions. I just used a good old if that's been around forever and is still amazing, even with all the fancy new stuff. Tables, which came out in 2007. That's not necessarily new, although a lot of people were not necessarily fully familiar with them. But the key thing was the fact that I was referencing an entire column, which you don't do without the
it's a different style of writing formulas.
Absolutely.
Yes. Cool. And you have another thing on the right side of another column.
Yes.
You will be writing something there, I suppose.
I mean, first of all, just to bring in a couple of the new functions quickly. Not to dedicate too much time to them, because I'm sure some of the other people left on will have a lot to say about these. But I just want to kind of create a pivot table, but not use a pivot table. I want a list of all the fruit in alphabetical order that are mentioned, and then just how much money, add them up. So for the fruit, we've got a couple of new functions, which only came out in January for those on Office 365 monthly channel. But that's another story, how to get access to those. And I'm going to use one of these functions called unique, which is something a pivot table would do by default. You drag the field in there, shows you the unique ones, puts them in order. Here we can use this unique function, and we don't need that pivot anymore, or the remove duplicates button, or any other approach. I can reference my table again. Remember, it's in a table. So I've got the table name and the column name now. And I can close my bracket off. And when I press enter, that's also going to spill, the word they use, all of the fruit that's mentioned in there.
Like a pivot table, but instantly with no need of refresh if you include something new on the list.
Absolutely. Right? So if I did change on what you say there, Cristiano, if I did change oranges to a pineapple, which I don't think it's mentioned there, then it appears in the list.
Yes. with no need. So people who are watching this video, you don't need to even refresh, press anything with the right button. It will just show up on the screen once you have in the list. It's amazing, and it's really unique. It's really special. Both meanings is unique.
And that's like playing on words, like unique there. You know, the dynamic arrays, as they're known, you're seeing both things here. We're getting an array of results, a spilled array. But then the other thing that we just saw there is the dynamic side of it. The fact that it was able to grow when new stuff was added is the dynamic. So the two parts of its name there, the dynamic nature, and also the fact that it's an array of results, rather than the kind of, I mean, there's always been array formulas around, but things like if and VLOOKUP, and where you reference one cell and then you copy it and that kind of behavior. Just to add one more to that, I can also wrap a sort function around those. A couple of sort functions, sort and sort by. But if I just do a normal sort, there's a few questions it asks. But if I just keep this simple for now and just go over classic sort, it will default to ascending order, which is what I want, so I don't need to get involved with the other stuff. And when I press enter, now they're in order as well. And
this is beautiful. This is beautiful.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If something new came in like Kiwi, then it also goes in order as well as expands.
Yes. Not only it will be included, but also in the right place between the A and M for people who are watching. Nice, awesome. Yes. And for the total, what you would be using for this? Maybe some. Usually we would be using, I think, some if, but
yeah, I was just going to use a good old some ifs. I mean, I've only got one criteria. I could do some if, but you know, there's multiple functions that can do that. The new filter function could do it. Some product, but yeah, keeping although the new stuff is great, I do like to kind of give a little bit of coverage to the stuff that is not so new as well. And some ifs, an amazing formula. The sum range will be, I nearly clicked on awesome there, will be the values in my table. The great thing about this as well is, although we can't put dynamic array formulas in tables, it's brilliant if they reference a table. Because I've shown changing values in the table, but if I added it to the bottom of the table would have expanded and included it. Whereas the normal range wouldn't. So that's probably worth a mention. I should have maybe demonstrated it that way.
So everything will be really dynamic.
Absolutely, yeah. With the use of tables and then the dynamic arrays, everything, both sides, the source data and also the report, if you want to call this the report, are both dynamic. Comma for the sum range. The criteria range is the fruit. And then the reason for this example, to finish this off, is the criteria is apple. But I don't want to have to drag this formula down, which is the normal way of using Excel. I'm going to put in this hashtag or this pound sign, known as the spill reference. And now I know I'm referencing all of them. Whether there's 5 or whether there's 15, they get referenced. So I can close that off and run it, and that will also spill to the bottom. And if new ones were added, everything will automatically update.
So people who are watching, take a look, pay attention to this special trick. Is not only F2, but there is a symbol of the same symbol of the hashtag, and this makes all the stuff be even more special. You don't need to press the button and drag the formula down. It will be fully dynamic if you do that. It's an amazing trick from Alan, and be sure to practice as well in your computer, and then follow all the contents from his channel. I have something from Unique. I'm remembering of the first time that I heard about it, not the summit, but the Unique that you were showing before. The first person that told me about Unique was Bill Allen, and in the day that he told me, it was the same day that I met him in person in Florida, and it was not available even for some of the other MVPs. So I heard from him that it was available on his computer, and then later Microsoft put for all the insiders. I remember that I had to wait for a long time to be able to use on insiders, and now people can use if have the 365. So not available for the 16 users. I suppose not for the 19.
No.
Yes, yes. So only for the 365. Yeah. Very good. It's really good what Microsoft is bringing to Excel, and this kind of trick that you are showing us can affect even charts, right? You like to make charts
Yeah.
as well.
I mean, these not all the features of Excel are 100% compatible with these dynamic arrays yet. Hopefully, because they know they're going to be improved. So I can run a chart off this. I mean, I could even select it right now and put a chart in, and it would be absolutely fine. But the way I'm doing it at the moment, although it works fine and creates it, that wouldn't update if I added a new fruit. I would have to do that a completely different way. I would have to set up a couple of named ranges for each array, and then get the chart to look at that.
I pressed something here before to put on the screen, and then I interrupted in the moment that you created the chart. So that one, it was just a common chart, right? You just selected and then inserted something. Yes.
Yeah, just inserted a normal chart, and it all worked fine. But by doing it that way, the chart doesn't understand a spill. It doesn't understand the array. So if a new fruit came at the bottom,
for this size, you are telling us that for this size of the result, it's okay. But if the small table increase the size, it won't be reflecting on the chart, right?
Absolutely. Bad blueberries, the formulas pick it up. See, it misses off straw.
It's inside, but the strawberries are not displaying anymore.
Because the chart is still using the sheet reference F2 down to G8 there. It doesn't understand what a spill reference is. So there's ways around that by using named ranges. But unfortunately, straight as it works, so you can create charts from them, but they not directly from the array, from the sheet, which is, it's hopefully something to improve. To repeat, there are ways around doing that, but yeah, some features work perfectly with them, like data validation, and other features like conditional formatting and charts don't work directly with arrays yet. Hopefully they will. And obviously we've seen that tables, they don't like being in tables either. But yeah, these features.
and tell us something about the charts. Do you have something to show us about charts, right? Ooh. You have another example.
I do indeed, yes. So, talking about the new stuff there, the arrays and sort and unique, but I wanted to demonstrate something that's kind of been around forever, a little bit like if, but just more creative uses of charts. So I've got some fruit again. Why not? And I've got some values. Let's imagine they're sales values and some kind of target, whatever these values are. But I've got a value and a target. And maybe I want to visualize that data.
Now I can see that it's a regular range, not a table, right? Because
Absolutely.
yes, regular
range. It looks the same, bit sneaky.
Yeah, I was trying to see something appearing on the top of Excel, and it's not.
No, mixing it up.
Uh-huh.
If I selected that range, it could be in a table just to make sure I'm happy with that. And if I was to go and insert a combo chart. So at the moment, I'm just creating a chart to try and visualize the values against the target. And I haven't done much to this yet, although it does kind of do a job, I guess. I can see that melon's just about made it, whereas pineapple easily, pretty much doubled their target. Apple was very short, and we could see that pretty easily, you know. But there are a variety of ways of measuring a value against a target. A combo chart is one. But what I wanted to demonstrate is adding something like conditional formatting into our charts, because it's a hugely popular feature to put into cells to identify the better performing products or whether you hit target, this kind of stuff. But there's not functionality in Excel to put conditional formatting on charts. There's not actually a button that does conditional formatting, but there are ways of doing it. So in the column, I won't worry about putting a header. In the column next to my data, I was going to type a good old if function again. Let me just zoom in, make sure everyone's happy with that. So just like I did in the previous example, a classic if, just intentionally trying to stay away from some of the new shiny stuff, although they're great. And with this if function, I want to ask if the value is greater than or equals to target. We've got a normal cell references there. I'm not doing anything dynamic. I'm doing it the old school way, although I could make this dynamic. And if it's true, I'm going to repeat the value. This will make more sense when it's done. And if it's not, I'm going to put in the NA error. So I'm going to force the formula to display an error because charts can't plot errors. So I'm intentionally saying, if the value hits the target, then show me the number. I want to chart it. But if it doesn't, just don't show it, ignore it. So it looks pretty horrible at the moment. And if I was doing this properly, I would hide this information. I don't want people seeing this stuff. But then I'm going to select my chart and just expand the range it's using with the little corner arrow, just like you'd resize a picture or a shape. That information comes in looking pretty horrible. Little grey line. But I'm then going to right mouse click on that line and change the series chart type. This should open a window. And I'm going to change that to a clustered column, just like the value is. So when I click OK, I get 2 columns. Then I'm going to maybe double click one of those columns to open up.
The original. This is the original. Okay.
Cool. And I'm going to change the series overlap to 100%. Okay, here we go. So that the 2 columns are going to overlap. So they look like there's only 1 column. So now I've got some which are blue and some which are grey. The ones which are blue, apple and kiwi, are the 2 that didn't hit target. And the grey ones are the ones that hit target. So if I wanted to take this further, I could select my grey ones. And any way you're happy to, but from format here, I'm going to turn them a nice green, indicating it's good news. I could even go as far as getting rid of this target line if I wanted, because I mean, we might appreciate it being there.
And maybe change the blue to red, so it will highlight that is not
absolutely
good.
It's bad news.
Bad news. Yes. Sometimes just because of the colors, people can understand differently. So now they can see that something is not good there.
Absolutely.
Usually.
Yes.
Or maybe the opposite, depending on the thing that we are handling.
Yeah. So we can see that the sales of Kiwi.
So the green is still there. The green is still there, but it's behind the red, right?
Yes.
It's behind. It's covered.
Yeah. That's it. So technically there's two columns, but I would put this in a different sheet or something. And if apples was to increase in sales, it would automatically turn green as it grows. So we get what looks like conditional formatting and an automatic color changing, which technically it's not. It's a column over a column. But it creates that appearance.
Yes.
Because there's not that functionality. And we can do this to line graphs and all of those as well. But just demonstrate with a column chart. And the really cool thing is that I just used an if function. So although the example here is did they hit target, you could write any criteria you want to write. Depending why you want to display that metric in a different color, whatever your reasons are, you just got to write the criteria. And because we're using an if function, it's extremely versatile. You can write anything you want. Yeah.
This is the condition that if available, people would be using the conditional formatting for the chart, but it's not available. So we are putting the condition inside the if function inside the column.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, people will have a new weapon now to work on it.
Yeah, hopefully that's the plan.
Yes.
Just to take this
maybe excellent.
One step further, if you're happy for me to. We've got this kind of worthless chart title. I could type something better over the top of that, but we can also get creative with our chart titles. And I'm just trying to show as much information as I can in this small space. So I can compare the fruits. That's brilliant. Column chart, that's its job. But because of the color, I can also see 4 out of 6 hit target. I can also see that even in a standard column because of the use of color. But then we've got these other labels, which we could get inventive with them too. So I could create I can't write a formula like an if function or whatever into the chart title, but I could write something into a cell. So maybe I type something like total sales. And I'm going to put a few spaces here just to get a bit of padding and close it off. I'm going to put in my ampersand, and I want to show the sum of all of the totals. So that in the same chart, I can see that, okay, mango's best. How much money did we make? It will be in the title. We made whatever. Now I want this total to also show. Actually, let me come back to it. If I just type the sum function here, and I reference reference the values. If it was in the table, I could have selected the column and close that off. If I keep with this at the moment and press enter, I'll get that text in there. And I can select the title, click in the formula bar, put in my equals, and just reference that cell so that when I press enter, it displays in the title. And this is text because of the word total sales. So I get 975. That might be adequate, and like happy days, we'll just keep that. But if I wanted to show some formatting, like a percentage or a date or a currency, I could come back to this formula, and around sum, another function that's been around, I don't know, as long as I know, is text. The ability to convert a number to text, apply numeric formatting. Whereas even if I had a currency or something in column B, the title is going to show as text. It's not going to show the currency. So in here, I'm going to say that the value is the sum function, and I'm going to put in my comma, and now we'll get to tell it how to format. So I'm going to open up some inverted commas, and I'm going to try and get a little bit fancy here, and I'm going to try and display this. If I say it right, in some Brazilian hail.
Yeah, I was trying to see what you are doing. I can recognize the symbol.
I'm going to put in some custom formatting symbols, which I don't know how familiar everybody is with this kind of stuff. You can look these up on Google, nice and easy. It's nothing that we need to remember. But this text function is going to show it in that format. So when I press enter, I now have some number formatting as well. And, this is all dynamics. So if these values were to change, as I demonstrated with Apple, everything's going to increase. That becomes 240, the column grows, it turns green, the total is increasing. And yeah,
really good. I used in the past sometimes this text formula to abbreviate some numbers using a smaller order of counting. It's a different way of using. Really good. And just for those who are watching, sometimes I hear people trying to make a formula inside the title of the chart. So it's not possible to make a full formula inside the title, but guys, you can point to a cell that has the formula. So it's a great workaround to give a step ahead of the limitations of the Excel. So you don't create the formula inside the title, but you put in one of the multiples available cells that we have. And then once you have the information inside the chart, you can cover and maybe you can stretch the chart and present better, much better than only a table, for sure. Great.
Because it's that formula, once again, you've got full freedom to display any information that you think is going to benefit the recipient of this chart. So I've just
yes.
It could have been any formula.
And they can use the creativity to make any kind of formulas that they need for the titles of the chart. This is amazing, and the way that you explained is also amazing. I'm sure that they will like a lot, and people who never did this will be able to practice since from now. If they are watching in a second screen, I'm sure that they have the Excel now and are practicing right now using the recorded video. It's great. I thank you a lot for this. And well, we are almost in 1 hour of video. This is amazing. I could be here all the day watching this kind of lessons, and thank you for this. I know that you are very busy, and I will not extend too much. So I will be bringing your picture bigger now, and tell for the audience some final words. And before that, let me put your website here again. So people, please visit computergaga.com and also subscribe to Computergaga on YouTube. But this video, I will leave you with the final words, and anything that you want to say, please feel free to tell them. And this is your space today.
I don't have much to say. I don't know if you noticed, Cristiano, I'm wearing one of my Summit t-shirts as well.
Beautiful.
Conference in Slovenia last year. So I've got pictures of Layla, Charles Williams on me.
Yeah, Charles Williams, Matt Ellington, and Ken Pose in the end. Yeah.
So Yeah, I mean, obviously you've mentioned my website and my YouTube. I'm not going to go all over that again. But I think what we're doing right now, what you've organised here, is great. It's just getting, it doesn't matter if you're an MVP or who you are. And that's what my London Excel is all about, really. I don't care about these titles and stuff too much. If people have got something to share, everyone's got something to offer, I think. Attending, like learning, sharing from each other, enjoying, and I think that's what it's all about, educating each other, and just trying to get the most out of Excel as it is here. And that's what the meetup's about. That's what you're helping, getting some experts together here, just sharing that knowledge and creating a kind of community, which I think is important. So thank you for that.
Thank you very much for accepting. This is great, and these final words are really inspiring because, yes, I totally agree. The transformation and the contributions that people may receive and also offer to others, it's the most important thing that we can leave for the other person that is close or distant by watching us from the internet. It's amazing. Thank you very much. I'm very happy to know you now much better than before, and I hope to see you soon in London or in other opportunities, maybe Amsterdam, Bulgaria, United States, or even in Brazil. We opened this channel one time, and this is once it's open one time, it's always open for your participation. And let's talk more behind the scenes, because we have lots of ideas to share and to expand this work that everybody's doing in the international community. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Bye.